Welcome back to Newsmaker Live, and thank you for staying tuned to this program. We're talking this evening VAT. That's the value added tax. It will be implemented as of September 1st this year. That announcement made by Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony during his budget presentation last month. Well, we have with us Ms. Adria Sonson, who is the coordinator of the VAT implementation project, and her substantive post is in the Ministry of Finance at IRD, the Inland Revenue Department. So I mean, you know a lot about taxes and the implementation. The Chamber of Commerce, when the announcement was made by the Prime Minister in Parliament, they expressed concern, notwithstanding that the talk of VAT had been years on the ground. It had been in the air for a number of years. We knew that it was coming. The Chamber has indicated that they are not ready. What does the Chamber need to do to be ready, and how are you reassuring the Chamber and getting them ready for that?
Okay, we've had one major engagement with the Chamber where we discussed some of the issues with regards to VAT implementation. The individual members of the Chambers, especially some of the larger ones, we've had direct face-to-face discussion with them, and some of them have said to us, you know what, come September 1, I will be ready. The Chamber had made some requests of the government in that what they had asked for, that the bill be passed, and that 6 months thereafter, giving them enough time to go through the bill and so on, that be implemented. But in terms of the draft bill, bearing in mind there have been some changes to the original, that had been available publicly. Even before that, we had what we call the white paper, which articulated most of the policies with regards to VAT. So what does the Chamber need? I cannot totally say at this point in time, but we have provided some assurances in that we have said to them, we are going to have the direct interaction with the business sectors, the various sectors, and speak with them on a one-on-one basis as well, what we call the advisory visits, which we will start see somewhere in July, August. And so, and the intention is not to leave, because to some extent it's really is a different situation for the businesses. So the intention is not to leave businesses out there on their own, trying to figure out what to do and what not to do. We will be involved in the process. As we have indicated to them, there will be a lot of hand-holding, a lot of support, and we will be very mobile, especially very early in the implementation, because you'd appreciate, if you want to visit, you want to have the discussion, you want to be on the premises with the taxpayer and have the discussion as to what to do, what not to do, and so on. So it's not a case that we sit at the project office and we just say implementation date is September 1. We will be actively involved in the field and working with the businesses one-on-one.
Now, were you at all surprised that the Chamber took that position of, well, we're not ready, there needs to be a postponement of that, it cannot happen on September 1st, based on the interaction that you had with the Chamber and the administration before that?
Well, I joined the project office in February. Before that, I know there was discussion with the Chamber. They were part of the consultations that went on. And there was dialogue between, and they had said, in all fairness to them, they had said from the onset what they wanted. Okay? But that has been, the postponement has, well, when I say the postponement, since 2008, when the project office was established, that to a great extent should have sent a message. And not only that, all around us in the Caribbean, everybody has gone VAT.
Right.
The recommendation has been made, and there has been a lot of discussion and dialogue, if not necessarily in St. Lucia, but around us. So all systems should be afoot or move to go towards VAT implementation. I am not discounting what they have asked for. But at this point in time, since we have announced the date, I want to focus on moving forward and what we can do and how we can support each other to ensure that the September 1 deadline is met.
But what is the greatest concern, though? I mean, I'm sure that there are some concerns that would warrant some, anxiety among the businesses.
For the greatest concern, and of course I'm subject to correction, is that the readiness of other government agencies. I think they had indicated they had some concerns about the readiness of Inland Revenue and Customs.
I see.
In terms of Customs, there were some issues with regards to, Asecuda and its capabilities and so on. And Customs has given the assurance that early this month, we had a consultant. The consultant who was originally responsible for the implementation of Asecuda was on island. There was, they will to have worked on a number of fixes for Asecuda where there were any shortcomings that were already that have been identified. As well, currently we have a delegation from CARTAC, and they are here to support Customs in particular to be ready.
And what group is that?
CARTAC has been the one. It's an acronym for. I'll get it for you, but they have provided support. Consultancy to all of the countries within the Caribbean, Belize, well, not all within the Caribbean, but a lot of the OECS, especially for Belize and one or two other countries, they have provided support for VAT implementation. So they have the all-round experience, they know what the other countries have gone through and so on. So they are on island to provide that support for Customs. We expect that once, and in fact, even the fixes that I've said to you that were done to Asecuda, they are testing these to ensure that everything is in order. And so, as well, Customs have actually brought in some additional staff. They have been on board, I think, for about a month or two. So, in terms of readiness, they are moving forward with their readiness. Inland Revenue, the staff complements, they've worked on that. They've put certain measures in place to ensure that come September 1, that they too will be ready. So everybody is doing what it is that needs to be done. In terms of the management of the what we call for the transitional arrangements, like the warehouses, the bonded warehouses and so on. These persons from CARTAC are always also assisting in that regard, because they provided the support in Grenada, in St. Kitts and so on. Again too, they are well aware of some of the issues and so on. So readiness is something that is happening. The agencies are aware of their commitments, they are aware of their responsibilities, and they are doing all in their powers to ensure that come September 1, everything is, all systems go. In terms of the VAT office, we are working ensuring that, for instance, the current system that we use to manage tax administration is what is called SICTAS. SICTAS is used by all of the OECS countries to manage the tax administration. So it's a standard integrated government tax administration system. SICTAS, I remember that one.
There's so many acronyms.
Yes. And for VAT, we required a special module of SICTAS. And that is about to be completed. The work has started in earnest. And so things are happening, not necessarily out there in the public, but a lot is happening to ensure that we meet the September 1 deadline.
Now, in terms of your challenges, what are you most fearful of from the VAT office standpoint in terms of the implementation? The transition, I would imagine, would be one of those areas that you'd be greatly concerned about.
Well, as anything else, you want to ensure that people are well informed, that they properly understand what their roles and responsibilities are, and for the most part, especially the business people are critical to the implementation of that. For the most part, they are the administrators, so we rely on them a lot. So ensuring that they understand their roles and their responsibilities, ensuring that they know that in terms of the requirements, what it is that they need to do and so on. So these are the kind of things that I personally feel that they don't get a proper appreciation. That I know some people have made some statements, anti-VAT statements and so on, asking the public to rebel, and but we want to send a message to people, and my greatest fear is that perhaps we do not meet as many as we should. We do not send the message as clear as we should, and so on, because compliance is the most important thing. That the business community understand their role and responsibility, the consumer to understand their role and their responsibility, and that the right things are said, and that people appreciate, even when because it cannot be a situation where we just we praise VAT and so on. There are some negatives, and we need to be honest and talk to people about it so that they can get an appreciation and understanding of what it is what it involves. So my greatest fear is that all the players will not understand what is required of them, their roles, their responsibilities, and so on. But fear not. We will ensure that in terms of speaking to the people, we speak their language. We meet the business community, we offer the support, and we not just offer but participate in whatever it is that they're doing to ensure that they comply. And we talk to the consumers so they understand, the changes, they see the changes, and they know in advance, this was supposed to happen.
Now, you have started your education campaign in earnest, and we've been seeing some public service announcements, some advertising in the media as well. But this is not the extent of your education. What else have you been doing to let the people know that VAT is coming and how it will be implemented?
Okay, we have already done well in terms of the business aspect of things. 9 o'clock. In terms of the business aspect of things, what we have done, we are in the process of confirming, and we have confirmed many of them, but scheduling the business presentations to the business people. Like I said, it's a direct interactive approach. Certainly the public service announcement will speak of something, but they cannot speak to the extent that we really want them to. So the direct approach, one-on-one interaction, is going to happen with the business community. In terms of the final consumers, we're going into their communities. In fact, we had one presentation in Entrepot last week, and that's going to continue. We are working with the Ministry of Social Transformation through the social development officers, and even the church or whoever it is that say to us, we can arrange, but we are in the process of arranging our own with the community development officers, so that we go into the communities, we speak to people, and again, very interactive, speaking to them in their language, bringing it down to their level so that they understand what Bagay Vatsala said about.
Great. We're speaking here with Miss Adria Sonson. She is the coordinator of the VAT implementation project, and of course VAT will be implemented on the 1st of September this year. We'll take a short break on Newsmaker Live. When we come back, we'll discuss some of the items that tax exempt and some which you'll be required to pay VAT on. Stay with us. Newsmaker Live will continue right after this.